Hello there, ladies and gents. Today I want to talk about something super important, which is basically, if I were to summarize everything I've learned about childhood narcissistic recovery, then I would sum it up in this one ability that I believe that every child of a narcissist should learn in order to guarantee that you will actually be able to get in touch with their true self and develop a sense of self that you feel safe in your adult years. Now, before we get started, I want to quickly let everybody know about the Inner Mastery Lab. It's a program created for children of childhood narcissistic abuse who in their adult years are looking for practical tools to actually build that sense of self. So if you feel that you're at a loss regarding how to become emotionally and psychologically independent from your abusive family, then with the Inner Mastery Lab, you're gonna get some pretty clear instructions that have nothing to do with me telling you what to do, and that has everything to do with my facilitating you finding your own inner wisdom and your own inner courage, because that's the only way you're ever gonna feel safe in life. So that's what the Inner Mastery Lab is about. It's about helping you feel courageous enough to get in touch with your own true self, your own inner wisdom, and creating a life based on what that inner wisdom tells you and not what your family tells you or the toxic people in your life. If you're interested, then you should know that I will be launching a pre-launch sort of thing, a pre-launch launch on the 27th of December. So if you want discount prices, because I will be offering a discount for this very first launch, then click on the link in the description below and I will be getting in touch with you shortly and you will be able to get these discount prices. Now, the program only actually starts the second week of January, but if you act now, then you can get this special offer, okay? And if you have any questions, just click on the link below, send me an email, and I'll answer all of your doubts. So having said that, how do we face any obstacle that arises on our journey of self-actualization, of childhood narcissistic abuse recovery? Well, basically, what happens generally, not just with this public, but with people in general, is that when we're faced with a very painful experience, some sort of obstacle or difficulty, we have this impression that life is trying to punish us and that we're impotent, and maybe even we feel like we're a victim. And it feels like everything outside of us is more powerful and that all of these outer things are actually going to define what happens in our existence. Now, this is a very disempowering way of regarding obstacles, because you can't find a way out. And if you can't find a way out, then basically every obstacle is just gonna, punch you in the face and really confirm to you that you're impotent. And that's not what I believe that obstacles were meant to do at all. On the contrary, I believe that if you internalize the following lesson that I'm about to tell you, every single difficulty that you encounter is going to become a blessing. So what's the lesson? Basically, this is very simple, okay? Think about it this way. Anything that appears in your life as an obstacle holds within it a lesson about an ability that you have not mastered, you have not developed. And the reason that you're dealing with the obstacle is because you don't have the ability. So this is very clear, for example, if you don't know how to set boundaries. If you don't know how to set boundaries and say no, then you're going to repeatedly be put in situations where your boundaries are invaded and where you feel invaded. Now, of course, you might just get that impression that, God damn it, you know what, I'm always in these situations. Obviously, there's no way out. But that's not the interpretation at all. If before every obstacle, you ask yourself, okay, I know that this is part of my personal curriculum for recovery. It's impossible for an obstacle to show up in my life that isn't directly related to something that I need to get better at, so as to be able to feel like I actually exist, like I'm connected to my true self, like I'm living aligned with my essence, right? So if you always ask yourself, what is the hidden lesson in this obstacle? You're going to find that there's something that you've been ignoring. So in the case of the person who keeps dealing with people who invade her, she has two options. She can be like, well, I guess I'm impotent and I will always be dealing with abusive people. Or she can be like, if whatever shows up for me is part of my healing curriculum, it means that there's a lesson here that I have to learn. And this situation is going to repeat itself until I'm courageous enough to be a good student and to sit my ass down and actually reflect about what's repetitive about the situation and how I'm causing it. And once you actually extract that lesson and you deal with it, you learn the ability, you will find that all of a sudden life is going to stop sending you repetitive experiences. So the easiest way for you to look at this is if you imagine that it's like a video game. When you're playing a video game, you have different levels, right? And you can only get to the next level once you've done whatever you need to do at the current level that you're at. You've gotten the point, you've killed the dragon, you've done whatever the hell you need to do. Life is the same way. Life is designed to guarantee your expansion through the facing of specific obstacles that will force you to develop abilities that you need to develop in order to actually live out your true self. So if instead of being like, oh my God, another painful experience, you're like, oh, okay, so this is repetitive. This is part of my personal curriculum that I need to learn. What is it that I need to learn? All right, so I need to learn how to say no, or I need to learn how to say yes. And this is a video game. I'm going to focus on getting through this level in a satisfactory manner. Because I think what we don't know is that if you actually face that specific obstacle, there is another level in store for you. And this is the part that's such a blessing. Oftentimes we'll spend 30 years feeling that there is no way out of a specific situation that we keep putting ourselves into. But it's just because you didn't kill the dragon at that level of the game. You have to kill the dragon. You have to actually identify and learn the lesson. And then what you're going to build inside yourself is the foundation for you to go on to another level. So I'm going to repeat this. If instead of running away from the same problem, you finally understand that there is no way to start having different experiences until you kill that dragon. If you just sit your butt down, you identify the lesson, you learn the ability, which might be identifying your needs, expressing your needs despite the guilt, despite all sorts of emotional discomfort, then you're going to train that ability in a repetitive fashion. And all of a sudden, when the same experience comes into your life, you're not going to have the same ability, the same difficulty. All right? So the important thing about what I'm telling you is that oftentimes when we're in repetitive situations, like, oh, here I am in an abusive relationship again. Here I am at a job that I hate. Here I am socially isolated, not knowing how to generate a support system. Or here I am, whatever, being the abusive person in the relationship, right? Repetitive situations with the same lesson that you're refusing to learn, they cause suffering. And suffering is not necessary. And it's important that we differentiate between suffering and pain. You want to take that suffering, which is repetitive situations that you're encountering because you haven't learned the lesson, right? And you want to turn it just into growth pains. So what does this mean? It means that there is pain in life and you can't avoid it. And pain exists because every single time that you're going to another level of the game of life, you are going to encounter discomfort. You have to acquire new skills. You have to leave your comfort zone. So there is pain involved. If you don't transform that pain into just growth pains, because it's always uncomfortable to learn new abilities. If you keep on living the same pain and reacting the same way, not updating your responses according to the lesson that you're learning, then that pain is going to turn into suffering. And that suffering is going to turn into your personal story. And that personal story is going to be your identity. And you're going to identify with that suffering, with that repetitive experience. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm the woman who's always in abusive relationships. Or I'm the man who's always in abusive relationships, right? So the point here is to get obstacles and turn them into interesting challenges that you are going to face. Don't let pain become suffering by repeating the same damn experience because you are refusing to understand how you are generating it. What this also means is that, this is going to sound kind of woo, but I swear to God, this makes such a difference. There's a huge difference between considering your obstacles just proof that life hates you and considering your obstacles a gift from life. Because life, being wise the way that she is, she knows what you need to learn to get to the next level, and then to the next level. And as you go to the next level, you achieve self-actualization. When you see obstacles as a gift from life, an obstacle is just life telling you, yo, you want to achieve your dream, whatever it is, healthy relationships, a wonderful career, well, you gotta face this. If you face this, I promise you there is a trophy on the other side. There is always a trophy. There is always something to be gained if you face the obstacles at that level, if you kill that dragon so you can go to the next level. So what happens is when you see life, when you see obstacles as lessons, you're actually grateful because you know that whatever it is that you are dreaming about, that is important to you emotionally, that you've been trying to create, that has been so difficult in the past, you know that it's through this obstacle that you're going to learn how to do it. You're going to achieve it. You're going to get your trophy, your desire, if you face the obstacle. So obstacles are met with actual gratitude. Even though they generate pain, because there's growth pains, you know that they are a blessing in disguise. And it's not just blah, 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 like, oh, thank you, life, for putting me in difficult situations. I guess I'll learn. No, this can't be an intellectual process. This can't be an, oh, everything is okay process. You need to sit your butt down and learn the skill. And the skill is going to be uncomfortable because it's something that you're not used to doing. So it involves discomfort, but you will feel gratitude for having obstacles because they're not random pain. They are something that are going to link you to what you're actually looking for. So there's a couple more things that I wanted to say about this subject. So if you interpret all obstacles as life giving you a chance to get to where you want to go, then it means that life wants to give you what you want to give yourself. And isn't this a radically different way of looking at life than just assuming, damn it, life just punishes me in the same damn situations? Life is trying to tell you what you need to do in order to get to a different situation, right? So when you see that life is your friend and that what she's putting in your path isn't just random, you can recognize that life is an ally. And you don't have to be thinking that life is your enemy. And this in itself helps you heal your relationship with life, because instead of feeling that you have no support, you know that there's a higher intelligence that is actually looking out for you and for your deepest dreams. And then a couple other things I wanted to say is, you don't have to worry about the obstacles that you're going to face. Oftentimes we get so stressed out about things that might happen and things that might go wrong. And that's not the way of dealing with it at all, because you don't need to be dealing with lessons that haven't arrived yet. You need to deal with what's in front of you. And then when it comes to future lessons that you might have to deal with, I believe the healthiest way of looking at these future lessons isn't stressing out over them beforehand. It's starting to consider yourself the sort of person who can deal with obstacles as they arrive. So instead of being like, oh my God, what if this other thing happens in the future? How am I going to deal? The other thing hasn't happened. You don't have to deal. Life hasn't told you that that is the lesson that you have to learn. Life determines the curriculum and not you. Instead of stressing out in advance, just be like, okay, what I'm dealing with right now, because this is what life put on my plate, is this issue. I will not stress out over other things. I don't know what life is going to put on in my curriculum next, right? And so as not to stress out over other things, I decide that when the next obstacle comes, the resources I need, the support I need, the wisdom I need, the things that I need are going to be present. And I also decide that I don't have to get stressed out over the next obstacle because I'm not made of glass. Remember that movie, Amélie Poulain? And there's that French movie, right, where there's a scene in that movie where this Amélie that has some social anxiety, she watches a video from a dear friend of hers that died. He left a video before he died, and he tells her in this video, because he knows she's very scared of life and of relationships, he tells her, "You're not made of glass." And you are not made of glass. You don't need to worry about all of the obstacles you're going to face. Be humble and just face what's in front of you, and know that life made you strong enough to deal with the specific obstacles that you need to deal with to get to where you want to go. The resources will show up. The people will show up. The wisdom will come. All right. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Let me know if you identify with anything. Let me know if this is the way that you interpret obstacles. Let me know if you had any insights. Write all your comments in the comments below. If you like this video, then like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots more videos in English over the following weeks. If you have any questions, get in touch with me. There's a link below, and I will be more than glad to maybe make videos that are relevant to a greater number of viewers. So, and if you want to be part of the Inner Mastery Lab, it starts in the second week of January, but you have an opportunity to be part of it at a discount price starting on the 27th of this month. Get in touch, add your email to the link below, and we can start our journey together, where you are going to identify your true self. You're going to learn how to make decisions based on your true self, and how to finally build something inside of you that feels safe enough for you to live in and to operate from. All right, ladies and gents, that's all I wanted to say to you. Mwah! See you next time.